Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us on 13 Now with your afternoon headlines. This is Tessa Bentulan here, and today is Election Day. We have full coverage for you in the next several hours. You still have a couple hours to cast your ballot here. We have three reporters with us, Sabrina Dami, Dan Levy, and Stella Porter out in the field today. They're covering some of the biggest races across the state. Sabrina Dami and Dan Levy are down in New York City covering the governor's race. Stella Porter is in Binghamton to cover the 19th congressional district. Let's go ahead and start with Sabrina Dami, and you are covering Governor Kathy Hochul today.
That's right, Tessa. Hi, everyone. We are here in Lower Manhattan, right outside the venue where Governor Kathy Hochul will be later tonight. This is Capital. We're on Bowery for people who are familiar with this area. And in a few hours, the current governor, is hoping that this will be a big party here in this venue. We popped inside for a few minutes. We did see sound techs getting ready, photographers getting ready, a giant screen. So they're hoping it will turn into a big celebration and that Governor Kathy Hochul will make history, becoming the first woman elected governor of New York State in the state's history. And if she does win tonight, she would be the first governor elected in upstate New York since about 100 years. Back in 1920 was the last time Nathan Miller in Cortland County. Governor George Pataki from the Peekskill area would be the closest to upstate, but we in the capital region know that is Peekskill's not upstate New York. So a lot of history could be made tonight if Kathy Hochul wins. A momentum has been picking up behind this race, and our viewers have seen the ads also gaining in tone and taking a different narrative. So we will see what happens. Again, as you said, Tessa, the polls are open for a few more hours, and we will be with you for extensive coverage all throughout the evening here on YouTube, on social media, and of course on News Channel 13 starting live at 4. Tessa.
Okay, Sabrina, thank you. Now let's head over to Dan Levy, who is live also in New York City covering Lee Zeldin, who is competing against Governor Kathy Hochul, and he's had a pretty good fight in this race.
In the waning moments of this campaign, I'm standing in front of Cipriani's restaurant on East 42nd Street in Midtown Manhattan. Tonight, history will be made here in New York City. Either Kathy Hochul will be elected as the first woman governor of New York State, or else Lee Zeldin will pull off one of the most stunning upsets in American political history. The celebration, they hope to have a party here in Cipriani's. According to polling in the closing days of this campaign, both outcomes really seem like possibilities for Kathy Hochul to win. The key would seem to be voter turnout. In deep blue New York, Democrats, of course, outnumber Republicans by more than 2-1. And if you were to gauge the turnout using preliminary data from the State Board of Elections, 1.2 million people statewide voted early. Now, that is a sharp 53% decline from early voting numbers during the 2020 presidential election. We also know that more than 500,000 absentee ballots have been requested by New York voters. And as of Friday, 325,000 of them have been returned. 2/3 of them did come from enrolled Democrats. So it stands to reason that Zeldin has some catching up to do. If the GOP can motivate enough same-day voters to get out to the polls today, we might be looking at a monumental political surprise. So we'll know one way or another at Cipriani's in Midtown Manhattan, and we will be following all the activities down here. And for the grand old party, it would be a grand old party of celebration if Zeldin would wind up on top. Tessa.
Okay, Dan, thank you so much. We'll check in with you throughout the night here on YouTube and on News Channel 13 live at 4, 5, and 6. We'll see you then. Okay, and last but not least, we have Stella Porter, who is out in Binghamton, and you are covering the 19th congressional district. You are out there because Josh Riley's watch party is out there today. So tell us about him and how he is a political newcomer in this case.
Yeah, well, Tessa, you have an interesting situation where actually Riley and Molinaro both in Binghamton today. I'm outside the Broome County Courthouse here, and you have in Molinaro someone who's an experienced politician, been in New York State government, and then you have Riley, who has been an attorney for many years in Washington and at a private firm, several private firms, and you have the two of them both running in an area that they grew up in, that they're that they're both from. So you also have to remember how big this district is. You have Binghamton, which is part of the district, and then you also have Ithaca, which is part of the district, and parts of the capital region. So we are over 2 hours away from Albany right now, and we're still in this newly redrawn 19th district that's been drawn to be much bigger than it was before. So when I talked to both of the candidates last week, that was something that they were keeping in mind, is just how vast and big this district is and how many different kinds of people there are. And this race so far has shown that, both of them have a chance at this. It's been pretty tight in the polling, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, and what the turnout is like for this race.
Okay, we will be posted with you throughout the night again right here on YouTube and News Channel 13. Stella, thank you. Okay, and so that does it for us with the live reporters out there. We also have Kumi Tucker, who is heading out to Glens Falls right now to cover the 21st Congressional District, political newcomer as well. Matt Castelli is going to try and win this race, but he is up against the incumbent, Elise Stefanik, who has been holding that seat since 2014. We will have live updates from her on 13 Now as well throughout the night, as well as on News Channel 13. And our coverage continues here on election night, Tuesday, November 8th on My 4 from 9 to 11 p.m. We're going to have full coverage there. We'll have our USA Today Survey USA poll. We'll also have Mark Mulholland will be in studio with live panelists, as well as Elaine Houston. And then we switch over to News Channel 13 from 11 to 12 a.m., moving on with our election coverage over there. And then we continue here on 13 Now, our YouTube newscast for election night exclusive coverage. Elaine Houston and I will be altering every half hour from 9 to midnight with that. Also, as well, talking about the polls, speaking with some of the voters that we got earlier today, and also some of the panelists, and just seeing how the night is going to play out. So make sure to stick with us for the rest of the night for your election coverage. And you still have several hours to go cast your ballot. Polls close at 9 o'clock. We'll see you live at 4 for News Channel 13.